Hello, welcome to my presentation for Project Boomerang. My name is Nick Bazzoli, and I worked with Daniel Serrano and Dennis Sensi. Without further ado, I'm going to go over the agenda, which includes going over the innovation claim, images showing spam stats, prior art, a use case for the program, talking about the prototype and how it functions, and then showing how it functions in a demo video. The innovation claim for Project Boomerang is we use machine learning to give you a simple tool that you can just copy and paste your spam into the form field, and you can get a result immediately. As long as you can install the dependencies, you can run it. It's that simple. The first image I wanted to bring up is this graph that shows the 6-month period from Q4 2019 to Q1 2020. And in December 2019, spam reached a peak at 57.3% of all email messages. And that shows that spam may be on the decline as it's going down just a little bit each time, but it's still more than half out there. So we have to be on the lookout. This image shows a brief definition for Bayesian filtering, which involves a bunch of math, mostly probability and statistics. So you take words, compare them to a token, give the token to the algorithm, and have it compare it to the master list of all the ham and spam, which are the terms we use for ham being non-spam, so just legitimate emails, but spam obviously being spam and phishing. As I just mentioned, how 57.3% of emails are spam, it's also 57% of companies experience social engineering or phishing attacks. This obviously doesn't include penetration testing activities. This is all counting malicious activities. So for prior art, there's two things. IBM has a natural language processing email spam classifier, and it uses the Watson system and the Watson algorithm to classify emails. It's on the cloud. You can definitely run it if you have access to it. I wanted to give a standalone program that you can run from the comfort of your computer and doesn't put you in any additional risk. There's also Barracuda Fishline, which is an active defense inline spam classifier and education tool for employees. And while it does do some classification, it's more active defense than it is email spam classification. So we wanted to give you, again, something you can just run, turn it off when you don't need it, and go on with your day. The use case for this kind of ranges, but it's manual verification of spam emails. So if you have that feeling that it's going to be spam and you want a second opinion, you can just definitely run it and check. Second opinions if your email provider thinks otherwise. So if Gmail doesn't catch it, it'll give you an actual verification if it is spam or not. Make sure emails aren't being spoofed by checking the CC field, so anybody who is copied onto the email, and checking the sender line. Make sure the sender line address is legitimate. You can check that by throwing the email into the tool, and it'll actually tell you if it's a legitimate email or not. Check emails for hidden text, so white text on white background. It's insanely hard to spot. It's what people used to do on their resumes. You can actually check it and it'll tell you if anything's hiding in the email. Like once you select everything, it'll actually be there when you copy it. Moving on, I want to talk about the prototype. So I packaged it as a Docker container. It's on Docker Hub. I'm going to be packaging it as a VMware OVA file, which I will distribute shortly. It's on GitHub in 2 repositories. One of them is the fork I made to push the changes, and the original is also on there under my teammate's GitHub. And it's put in these distribution channels, i.e. Docker and VMware, for the ease of setting up and getting running. It's built on Python, uses Flask for a web server, and it's really reliable. And in just a moment, I'll open my VMware machine to test the application live. Using emails from my own spam folder, I'll be able to determine legitimacy quickly. I'll also be using emails from the master list, and I will be using headers and email addresses to also classify the legitimacy if it is a legitimate email or not. So very quickly wrapping up, I want to show you my demonstration of how to use Voomerang. So I have a root terminal in the Voomerang folder that I have downloaded to, and the procedure is install the dependency, so pip3 install tech-r requirements.txt. It'll give all the dependencies a good installation, and then you just do python 3 app.py, enter your email, log in with your password. It's running locally on 0.0 port 5000, and I already had a search here for a couple minutes ago, and I'm just gonna predict it's not spam. But if I go to this email here, it is spam, and you'll see in a second. See? So then if we go to the folder, go to boomer.py, this has all the login information, and it's just supposed to fetch from your email. And if you have anybody watching you over your shoulder, you can just block out your password, so you know if they're looking at your keyboard and looking at your password or not. Here's a page code with all the page code, so all the classifier code, all of the writing to the spam.csv file, and all of the classifier code with its CSV file formatting, and then the CSV file itself with all of the spam and ham that it has. But I hope everybody has had fun watching my presentation. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Other than that, have a really great day.